at the Realty firm, and this is another episode of the No Secret Agents podcast, where we look to bring amazing people, professionals, and even today, a partner company, the Realty firm Prestige Brokerage, into our environment to showcase what they're doing, not only as real estate professionals, but as colleagues, members of the real estate community, and everything and all things real estate and how they support their community as well. So today I'm blessed and honored to welcome Greg Rains and Erin Glen from the Realty firm Prestige Brokerage. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So Greg, partner company owner and broker of record for Prestige, maybe you can share a little bit about your journey into real estate, how you got started, where things are at today, a little bit about Prestige, and, glad to have Erin here to share some great insights as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having us. And basically, I started out in real estate after going through the process of buying my first home. I was interested in the process of it. I had kind of I love the idea of looking at houses and going through all the ins and outs of it. And at the time, my realtor was a buddy of mine, so I was able to kind of get a little bit more insight in how the business worked. I was kind of bouncing between a couple seasonal jobs where I was working at Bowler Mountain doing the rental shop in the winters, and then at the London Home and Country Club in the summers. But on top of that, too, I was working for the federal government. And I don't know if everybody knows this about me, but I'm severely ADHD. So I was sitting in a cubicle for 37 and a half hours a week, absolutely soul sucking on the phones. And it wasn't hard work, but it was just mind numbing. And I knew pretty quickly that that wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. So I jumped in, did over the course of a summer, did my real estate courses. And funny enough, basically right the week I got licensed and was ready to take off the ground running, I got an offer from Bowler. They just put in the Treetop Adventure Park. Yeah. So they had full-time seasonal employment for me. So they brought forth a package to me where I would do the marketing, run the rental shop in the winters, and then take care of the Treetop Adventure Park in the summer. So it was consistent, stable. And at the time, the money was more money than I would imagine myself making. Sure. But it was right in that first week. So basically, the management team presented this job offer to me. And I didn't say yes, didn't say no right away. I asked for a weekend to think about it. And I went back and forth probably 5 or 6 times. And Monday when I got back to them, and I think I hadn't made up my mind that morning yet, and essentially turned down the position and said, I've got to do this. I've got to bet on myself. I'm going to jump in with both feet here and make a go at real estate, because I don't think I could live with myself with the unknown. If I didn't give it an honest shot and see how I do at this, I would really have some regrets in life, and I don't want to live that way. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, first year I joined with Oliver and Associates. I knew Dennis from the Hunt Club, and so he kind of guided me, but ended up winning Rookie of the Year, and my gross earnings in the first year was about double the package that Bowler had offered me. So it was kind of vindicating that I made the right decision. Yeah. And then there was no looking back. That was 2010. So we're almost 16 years into it.
Time flies.
Yeah,
time flies.
Yeah.
Take us through a little bit on, I guess, the trajectory into outstanding start. And I didn't even know that part of the story. I love that, betting on yourself, and yeah, I'm all about it. Start growing. You're having success in real estate as an individual agent. When did things transition into more of team environment?
Yeah, honestly, the team environment was kind of fell into my lap. It was more of a fluke.
Okay.
So initially, at the time, there was no such thing as a prec. So in order to incorporate, and I was making enough money. I was getting absolutely slaughtered coming tax time, where the tax man's taking away 50% plus of your hard-earned earnings. And so I believe Dennis was the first independent to figure out a way, essentially the franchise model.
That's right.
That we still utilize today, where I was able to incorporate. And then just through that, people came to me and friends and past clients said, I've got a friend that's looking to get into real estate. Will you talk to them for a little bit? And at first I wasn't really that keen on having a team or partnership, but yeah, I ended up meeting one guy that was fantastic, and he actually came along with me when I started Prestige at the Realty firm.
Right.
Life's taken him in a different direction, but he's Matt Carter, if you're listening. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it fell into my lap, and then he was outstanding, right? And it's when you have good partners and you trust them and know they're bringing a lot of value, that really opened my eyes to, hey, I can do this and make a team that really runs efficiently, and I bring in the right people. And that was the key, is very selective of who I'm bringing into the team. And I would say over the last 5 years, probably said no to 3 or 4 times as many people as I've brought onto the team. So being super selective, and I never really want to, the model of a traditional brokerage where it's all volume, it is not my model, because I love sales. And I think if I get too big and the team's too big, it pulls you away from what you love to do. And that's the sales part of things. So kind of lean, mean, bringing in the right partners.
For sure.
It is the key to how I operate the brokerage.
I love it. And I don't disagree. I mean, even with the realty firm the size that we are as an overall, brokerage, we've said no to a lot of people.
Yep.
And every time that it was a maybe and I ended up saying yes, it turned into a no.
Yeah.
And that's just such an importance of working with good people, which brings us to Erin Glen, part of Prestige, a very, very active member inside of, the company, the community. What about yourself in terms of how you got started? And then we'll get into the overall makeup of Prestige. And, we don't have all the members here today, and they're fabulous.
Yeah.
But we're thrilled to have you joining us too.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So little different story. I was a teacher. As you know, your kids went to the school that I taught at. Didn't get to teach them in a class setting, but
dodged the ball there.
got to coach them, and great kids, active. We'll say active.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I was at a great school teaching for about 15 years. No complaints, great families, great kids, and then COVID hit, and I think it made me kind of step back and say, like, do I want to do this for another 15 years? It was exhausting. And so it was during one of the shutdowns. I think I saw a house online. I reached out to Greg and said, I'm interested. And we started looking at houses. And I just said to him at the time, like, do you still love this? I think he'd been in the business 12-ish years at that point. Yeah. He was like, I love it. It's different every day. And he's like, it's shut down. Why don't you do your license? Just do it. See if you like it. And that's kind of what started it. Okay. And then I had a planned sabbatical from teaching for 6 months, which was kind of nice. I could be off, still getting paid. And then, I got into real estate at the craziest of times with COVID, which, to be honest, was probably the best time, because you could see how, there was lots of sales happening, lots of things moving. And I was like, okay, I'm staying in this. Yes. And now it's a little different. And that's okay.
Market has shifted.
Yeah. But it was just like perfect timing, and I never went back to teaching.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What I've come to recognize in just observation and getting to know how, Greg and how all of you guys, connect as far as the team brokerage goes, you're so involved in the community. Was that something that, has always been ingrained? I'll ask you first, Greg, as far as that community involvement. And when I say community, bringing people together, stuff that you do for charity or good causes, things like that. Like, what started that with you?
Honestly, I think it comes a little bit from my upbringing.
Okay.
My mom was always the host with the most, like always entertaining and always getting involved in school events, neighborhood things, and volunteering. Early on, I kind of took that piece from her.
Okay.
And it's just something that I've always been good at and I like to do. I like bringing people together. And I've never really looked at the monetary benefit of it, but it being a connector of people, how can I bring these people together to help the greater good for whatever it may be? It's always something that is rewarding to me. And it makes it not feel like work at all, really. It's I like organizing things. It might be a little bit of a control freak in me, where if I'm the one organizing it, I can do what I want how I see fit.
Sure.
So there's that piece of the puzzle. But no, it's something that's fulfilling, and I like to do it, and it's something that I've always done. Even going back to high school days, getting groups of guys together to rent a cottage together to get away or organize a trip. I feel like I've always been that glue guy to do it, and it's kind of continued on to a professional way of doing business, and the way I've kind of ran my business is keeping these events going. So
I find and I notice that you're like that connector, right? So when you say the glue, then I get it, because I'm a firm believer too that when you serve and support other people, success isn't an issue. How do you find that the correlation between the real estate sales does happen through some of these things with the connectivity, though? Is it just, you're in front of people, you're doing good things, and it just naturally comes? I think that our business and our environment has gotten so transactional, lack of communication among agents, even in terms of like the actual sale. Agents don't pick up the phone these days and, have conversation. But, did that just naturally come as far as, sales happening from a result of just being out in the community and connecting with your people?
Yeah, I think any sales trainer is going to look at the way I do business and shake their head, because I'm never asking people for business, almost to the full. But I think when I'm out in the community and hosting these events and doing these things, people see that I am trustworthy, and I get things done, and kind of that attitude and aura that I bring to these things, where I'm not looking for anything in return. It's, I think this would be a good event for you and your family or whoever to come to. So it kind of just makes people put their guard down a little bit. And it is just, I've built a primarily referral-based business off of being out in the community and hosting these events.
Sure. And Erin, you've gotten very involved, and I know Prestige has gotten involved. Maybe one of the points of interest that I've actually participated in as well as the golf tournament, Kids Floor.
Yeah.
Maybe take us through that, and how you guys are impacting the community, the types of things that you're doing with that, and then what's coming up next too.
Yeah, so we were looking to organize some sort of event. I mean, golf just kind of made sense, especially golf. Craig likes to golf.
A little bit.
So, and it was actually a neighbor of ours at our family cottage, who at the time was one of the organizers of Kids Sport and Kids Sport London. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's an organization that helps kids in the London area with registration or equipment costs for sports. And both of us grew up playing sports, still play sports. It was a huge part of our lives, and I think where our communities have been built, right, through sports. So we like that it was local. I know there's other organizations that are great out there, and they do it kind of across Canada. But so I was talking to him, and he said, that would be great. We would love that. And that's kind of where it started. So next year will be our fourth year, right? And it's just kind of grown each year, more sponsors, more people coming out and taking part. And that's where it started, though. Yeah, sure. It's just, we wanted something local that would kind of give back to the kids, for sure.
Cool. Would you say that And I would say that, giving back is a core value that I observe within Prestige.
Definitely.
Is that one of the main things that attracted you to, join up with Greg and, the team?
Yeah, I think that, and Greg and I went to high school together.
You didn't shop around.
I didn't shop around. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that was a thing until about 2 weeks before. I was like, oh, okay. But no, I met the team, and at the time it was Matt, Stacy, and Erin Glen, so a little bit smaller and different numbers, and met the team, and I thought they were great, and they all seemed super motivated, and I didn't shop around, but I've been happy, and it's just fun, right? Like I wanted to come to work, I want it to be fun, I don't want it to be. I found sometimes in my previous career, I was pep talking myself in there at times. Just, it gets a bit monotonous. So I wanted something that was different and change. And
Sure.
yeah.
I find that, the number one reason that most teams, in all of my years of training and development, most teams fail because of lack of proximity to leadership. And yet what I see that you do with, the team environment, the brokerage, like you guys are doing like sales training, but you're going to like Austin or, like going on these amazing, getaways and building, is that part collaboration that you guys come together? Is it just the fun factor, as far as getting people together to get like-minded and thinking about these things? But like, what's the purpose behind some of this?
Yeah, I think the fun factor is huge. And I think when you have a good group of people together and bouncing ideas off of each other in a fun environment, it adds a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
You get that sense of not just coworkers,
Yeah.
where you become almost like a little bit of a family,
Sure.
right? Where you've done the travel with them, and you learn a lot about people when you travel, and you're not stuck in an office space, and keeps it fun and it keeps it light, and you get some new ideas from different markets. So it's something that I've been doing since the beginning of my career.
Right.
Is a lot of learning and conferences and adding the travel aspect up to it with other realtors, because you pick up so much just from being around other people that have maybe gone through this situation that you weren't aware of, and you're in a loose setting where it's you find out a lot more about people, the business, and yeah.
Totally. In terms of the overall team dynamic, there's 5 of you total.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you feel that it's important to keep like the size of the team to a certain level, or, could you just keep growing? Like, I know you're selective with the people, but I find that, what I see in the environment now, like there's teams of like 100 people, and I don't know how that's really, a team. It's like a mega team or a brokerage, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things I've done early on with selecting the team is basically whoever's approached me, and I've never really reached out to anybody and recruited anybody to join the team.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, they've been people that have approached me, or friends and family members that know somebody that's getting into real estate. Well, you meet with them, and then after meeting with them, they've asked to join the team. And I've done initial meetings and essentially interviews with them. And if it progresses to the next step where I think my gut's telling me it's a good fit, I've always to the team from day one that I don't want to rock the boat in any way. So the next step is bringing this person in to meet the rest of the team. And I'll typically recuse myself from this meeting, whether it be a coffee or a drink or lunch or whatever, and they can meet this person and give the final vote. That way they feel that they've got an important voice, which they do.
Sure.
Absolutely they do. Because sometimes your gut's not always right. And I want everybody's collaborative view on this person. If this is somebody who's going to be an asset to the team, or if this is going to be something that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So I've always done that. And Erin went through the same process too. And she just squeaked it. Yeah, she squeaked it. Yeah. So I've done that. And I think that's an important part with the team dynamic, giving everybody final say. And if there was ever a hard no, and we've had them before where they've got to the point where they've met for lunch and it just was a maybe or not a great fit, and that's a no for me. I've got a good thing going on, and I don't want to rock the boat.
That's a great vetting process for sure.
Yeah, takes some of the pressure off me too.
Totally.
Yeah.
What would you give in terms of advice for a new agent getting started, maybe thinking about joining a team or, brokerage or just being around people? You've had tremendous success getting started. And so I would love to hear that insight as far as what somebody should look for.
Yeah, I would say, because I think anytime, I've talked to other agents or ones who've joined our team or whatever, the number one thing they've said is, I want to join somewhere where it feels like a team and I'm not one of 100, like you said. So that I would say, search it out, find the one that fits the best with you and you feel supported, right? I think can be a super lonely business.
Totally.
Especially things I think are different than they were prior to COVID with people. I mean, I like that we meet once a week as a team. It's not mandatory, but it's nice to kind of catch up and do things. But yeah, it is. I think find your team, find your people, and it may not always come down to the best. Honestly, I don't know what else. What deals people have, I really don't. I don't.
Don't look too far into it.
Yeah, but find something that feels right for you. And if you're not a team person, then definitely don't look for somewhere that wants you to, be a part of it. And I think if someone wanted to join our team, but definitely, wasn't a team player and didn't want to be involved, that wouldn't be the right fit, I would think, for dragging the team.
I did a couple other interviews recently with individual members, but that do collaborate, inside of the company environment. And so you're talking about team meetings, and just like us, none of our training's mandatory, right? But what we see is that people that get together, even if they're not super busy, but they're, connecting, whether it's at the office or over lunch, consistently, they're talking about real estate, and then all of a sudden real estate starts to happen, right? So is that connectivity among all of you like super important for you guys?
It is. And I think that you touched on it a little bit, but I think the most important thing for new agents to know whether you're joining a team or not is showing up is 80% of it. So if you've got a loose Monday morning meeting or a Tuesday, whatever day we meet, and have some training or whatever, just show up. You're so much farther ahead because you're forced to think about business and what you can keep doing to progress your business. And back to the team dynamic, I've never structured my team where everybody is below or beneath and I'm giving them leads or anything like that. It's not the way we're structured. My goal and my job here is to make everybody business owners. Think of themselves as entrepreneurs and how you'd run your business. And the benefit of the team really is we can collaborate on ideas and think of it as a buying group. So for advertising and marketing and things like that, when you have 5 agents working towards common goals, it keeps your costs down, and it's more of a collaborative to make sure everybody is bosses really and running their own business. So it's not the traditional sense of a team, but it's more of a buying group or a real estate group than a team.
It's your own brokerage that's working together collaboratively inside of it. On the note of marketing and things like that, and I'm going to ask you the question. Things have drastically changed over nearly 20 years for us, right? That's hard to believe. Would you say that the same form of marketing works now that did yesteryear, or has that really shifted?
I think it's shifted. I think the traditional print, like flyer marketing, is kind of going by the wayside.
I agree.
It's used to do flyer campaigns that were very fruitful, where you'd 10x your investment on them at least, right?
Yeah.
Not seeing the same results in this market with that. But I find the event marketing, there's always going to be a place for that.
Yes.
Building relationships. And that's kind of been the focus of the marketing dollars I do spend is a lot of event and community-based marketing. That being said, there's members of the team that do a fantastic job of online marketing, and they're finding great success with that.
Sure.
And there's definitely that's basically where the future's at. Really, it's essentially the online presence. So.
Both of you, and I know you both personally, but both of you live great lives as far as, family, socially, looking at what you do for, physical activity and fun. There's always the question about work-life balance in real estate. How do you navigate that? Because I know you're super active.
Yeah, Greg will say I'm not that great at it. My family is super forgiving. I mean, there's many times I have my laptop at, dinners in another room.
Sure.
But I am getting better the longer I'm in the business at blocking out that time and or leaving the phone at home or, I think this pace of real estate too, during COVID, you did feel like if someone reached out, you have to give them in that night or the next night or they're going to lose out. Whereas this is a little bit, you can still be responsive, but it's not as crazy pace. So for me, it's just setting a time, with family and friends and, like Wednesday mornings, I block that out. I walk the dogs, there's certain things every week that it's blocked out in my calendar and, you don't have to tell your clients that, but you just work around it and it works.
What about you? I mean, I hear you're a pretty good golfer.
I do golf a lot, and having somebody like Erin on the team has taken a lot of pressure off my schedule and my family time and calendar that way. But I think back to Erin's point is there's a way to be responsive to your clients, but set out boundaries and giving them clear timelines. So if your phone goes off and you get this text or call from a client, it's okay to say, I'm just tied up right now. Let me get back to you this afternoon with an answer to your question. And they're okay with that. They feel heard. No other professional has the same expectations as we do for an immediate response. And I think a lot of that pressure we put on ourselves because let's be real, when a new lead or a client comes in, it's really important. You don't get a ton of those. So you got to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, but with the right responses and tools that you can still be responsive to them, but set out clear timelines and get them the answers in a timely manner. And it's not disrupting your family life or your activities.
Yeah.
So
I posed the question to a few other recent guests that I'll pose to you. With families, especially young kids, which I know you have, real estate's never an easy one. I don't care how many boundaries that we place on things. But I also think that it's very important for our kids to see that hard work is okay. Is that something that you instill, with them or will as they get older?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important to the way I was brought up. Like I've been constantly employed since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And I've never been unemployed depending on the season, right? So it's something that having a motor and a work ethic is so important, right? And part of that is you always want to give your kids a better upbringing than you did, but you got to show them that you got to work for it.
Absolutely.
Right? So when my daughter looks at me and asks me for anything, I have a real hard time saying no. So I'm going to have to learn how to do that and make sure that she gets a job and figure a piggy bank and all that stuff that goes along with it. But it's very important to me that I instill those work ethic patterns to them.
Totally. When we look at the year ahead, 2026, what is in store for Prestige?
Good question. A lot of promise, and I feel like this spring market is going to be a good one. I think we're back to a seasonal market, and we're seeing that right now. We've got a lot of buyers and listings on the go right now where it's a traditional full market. We'll likely have that quiet time around Christmas again, and then kind of build into a busy, productive spring. And I can feel it right now with my business and my team's business that I think that spring is looking really good for us. So just kind of prepping ourselves and getting all the stuff out of the way when we have quote unquote downtime, making sure that we don't take the foot off the gas, and we're constantly prospecting and building our business and our systems when we do have that moment to breathe.
Sure.
That we're not just taking a vacation, right?
Mm-hmm. And we have kids sport coming up again.
Yep.
That's going to be the 5th year coming.
Fourth.
Fourth year coming.
June again, yeah.
How can people find out more about that?
Probably the best way is to email one of us, or it has been on Kidsport website as well.
Okay.
But I think would get in contact with one of us for sure.
So we'll make sure we put all of your contact info there. What's the best place for people to find Prestige as far as the agents within Prestige, yourself? Online, we'll post all of it, but what's the best way for
sure?
people to reach out?
So our website's prestigebrokerage.ca.
Okay.
And then our Instagram account, _ Prestige Brokerage. You can find us on Instagram. But call the office too. 519-601-1160.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedules. And for everybody that's watching this, I hope that you watch the full episode and really take a good look at a snapshot in terms of a brokerage, the team environment, a group of people that are coming together collectively in a spirit of contribution and abundance to their clients, to one another, and to the community, and successfully disclose. This is another episode of the No Secret Agent podcast. Greg, Erin, pleasure and honored to have you on the show. And we look forward to our next episode.